Let's fucking go. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm the fucking guy. I'm Troy Neff, your host, and the other fucking guy in the room is Leo. Leo,
how you doing, man?
what's the upside down P? Is that like a particular? Is that a brand?
The Diamond, the brand.
Oh, it's a D.
Yes,
Looks like an upside.
yes.
That's so stupid of me when there's a small diamond next to it. Okay.
It was a really popular brand back when I was in high school.
Okay.
And I was
way back then.
I mean, that's almost 10 years ago.
10 years now. Wow.
10 years ago, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it used to not sound as crazy when I used to say that, but now when I say back when I was in high school, it's a whole 10 years. So
that's a
while ago. It is a while ago.
That is a while ago.
I signed up for like a subscription based thing for like some t-shirts, and funny enough, this is one of the brands that they give out shirts to. So I personally don't really love the brand anymore, but there's more of like a sentimental kind of value to it. Brought back a lot of memories back when I was in high school and stuff like that. So I threw it on just in case, or just for that.
Speaking of t-shirts, it's crazy how we go through these, periods of time where something's like really popular. And I'm surprised at some t-shirt brands that are even still out there, still being sold, that I was like, nobody wears that anymore. But somebody must be. I don't know who they are, when Dawn and I went and picked up some things for the last concert we went to, some jeans and things. I was like, they were showing me some things. I was like, I haven't worn that. And I used to have 100 of them. And I was like, I haven't worn that in way over 10 years.
Yeah.
You guys really still sell that, But
you remember what the brand was?
Which was it? It was the old MMA brand, not the American Fighter, which is another one, with the skulls and stuff. I mean, I just was going to say it, that I'm having this Biden moment. I was trying to avoid.
Elite?
No, you have to go to, you'd have to go to Buckle.
Buck.
I still get my jeans there, though. I'm still wearing the same jeans from a long time ago.
Tap Out?
No, that wasn't that huge. That wasn't great. If you're still wearing Tap Out, that's probably a problem, too. Is it not Buckle's website? It's just gonna it's so funny because Dawn bought one for herself and she still liked it. I was like, okay, you want to wear it. But that's kind of like I was thinking of also like Ed Hardy. Ed Hardy was for a minute, but to me it lasted even less long than this. Yeah, just have men's t-shirts.
I don't know where I went to.
You have good jeans?
Apparently.
I actually wore my American Eagle jeans last night. So I wear Rock Revival pretty much and American Eagle. Sometimes I'll wear their basic BKE brand that they have. That's pretty decent. So where do we have? Affliction. So bad that goes. Affliction. Affliction was huge, dude. Like huge. Every gym guy wore Affliction. We had, remember I had all the big giant watches? You should see my watch collection. It's so stupid. I got all these big giant watches. People still wearing them, but yeah, Affliction. I'm like, who still wears Affliction? And I had some nice Affliction stuff, some really nice sweatshirts and stuff that I got rid of. But I don't have anything Affliction now. I literally got rid of every single thing. I think I sold or gave it all away when I moved. I mean, I had kept it for a long time, but I wasn't wearing it. So horrible to have these biting moments. It just sucks when you just can't think of something like that for a moment. So last night, it's the second to last home game for the Phoenix Mercury. They played, I would say, pretty solid against the Fever. The Fever really fought hard in the first half, but we made fewer mistakes and just more people are contributing. Alyssa Thomas was just shy of her another triple-double. And at halftime, I really thought she had a great chance of getting it. But I think she ended up with 23 points. Don't quote me on that, but it's very close. And 9 rebounds, 9 assists. That's how close she was. She was one away of each of those to get that. And sometimes when she was going up for a rebound there at the end and competing with the ball for one of her other own players, it's like, let her have it. That would have been nice to see. But I think that if you look at the standings now, that puts us in a tie with the Dream and the Aces for the same record. So tied, we're all tied for second, basically.
At 26.
Now maybe there's a tiebreaker, and that's how they have it listed, and within the things that there's a tiebreaker based on head to head, and I'm sure that's what it is. But for all intents and purposes, we're tied for second place, top 4 team. And then right after that, you have the Liberty in the East, and right behind us, you have Golden State. So we should finish, really. Let's see, where did we have? Oh, the Minx. I guess that I'm wrong. Tied for third. Because you have Minnesota, then you have the Aces. Liberty is behind us. No, I was right.
They do have the numbers.
I was right.
So we have Lynx first, and then the Aces second.
Yeah, but that's doing it by divisions. I think how they really
third, the Dream.
Yeah. But we still have the same record as the Dream.
Mm-hmm. They might just have like a tiebreaker thing for sure, because they have Mercury at 4.
Yeah.
And then Liberty. And the Valkyrie.
So it's a fight here. I mean, the game still matters, even though we all have the playoff spots secured. It's a fight for seeding now. And if you can get yourself opposite of Minnesota so that you're not meeting them early, that's not a bad thing. I'd much rather see Minnesota in the finals. But I definitely believe we have a chance.
Let's say game 1. Is that specific to anything?
That was last year, brother.
That's last year. You are right. Yes. Should have specified what year I wanted.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I had to do that, but
you wouldn't think you'd have to. The coach did challenge last night and lose the challenge, but hey, at least he's challenging more, and we're all happy, and I'm definitely okay with, everything that's going on. And last night for the first time, dude, in the lounge, because it's kind of buffet style.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And they finally had nachos for the first time. It's like, we'll have tacos all the time, but why can't you put out some fucking nacho chips? Is it really that hard? And they did, including even the good white cheese. With some barbacoa thrown on top, man. Are you kidding me, man? It was great.
It sounds good.
It was good.
It sounds delicious.
It was very good. I could pile on the meat, and it's like, this isn't that hard. You guys should have this as a part of this most of the time. But it's the only time for the year. So
only time of the year, you said?
It's the only time this season that they've done the nachos. Because they do change the menu a little bit, from game to game.
But for the most part.
But for the most part. There's always usually a chicken, but it'll be a different chicken. It might be glazed honey chicken breast or something.
Gotcha.
It's always a little different that they change it, in salads and just everything. They could throw burgers every now and then. That would be okay, a decent burger, but we've never had burgers on there. We'll see. Hopefully. Keeps getting better now. They do have the brick oven pizza that they do. That's pretty good. Decent anyways. Better than the pizza you normally get at a stadium. You know what I'm saying? But one more home game. And that will be against the Los Angeles Sparks next Tuesday. They have one game after that, I believe, on Thursday. And that's it, man. That's it for the regular season. And I did secure my playoff tickets yesterday afternoon.
Nice.
Locked in my seats. I was like, dude, I don't want anybody else sitting in my fucking seats. Nobody will sit in your fucking seats, dude. You're good. I got you. He took care. Because I deleted the email, I believe, or something that I could have used to lock that in.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's hard to clean up your email, especially if you let it go. You can just be fucked. And then sometimes you have to think, I should just dump everything. I haven't needed it anyways.
Then you delete something important.
Yeah.
I've been down that line.
That's what happens, right? Just terrible. So we're excited. I'm kind of concerned, though, that, Caitlin Clark might not come back this year at all.
From injury?
Yeah. I just don't understand how this is that serious of an injury. And I think it's really shitty of Indiana to be so vague about her injury. Who are you fooling at this point? What's the point of not disclosing what her real injury is and why it's taking her so long to come back? It just seems, time-wise, just a little ridiculous. People still there to see her, and obviously most of the tickets bought for the Fever games especially were purchased before the season started, and so we had a really good crowd last night. I don't think they announced it, but we weren't a total sellout, but again, which would be like around 17. I think we're probably about 15,000 last night. And then Saturday, we were at a little over 13. And those are good numbers. Those are numbers that are up. Things are up all across the league. Even with Caitlin Clark not playing, numbers are still up. And I think that's bless you. That's definitely a good.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely a good thing. But it would really suck if she wasn't around for the playoffs, especially for them. They can win without her. They can't beat the best teams consistently. Can they beat the best teams in a game? Well, they proved that earlier in the midseason with that whatever cup they have, like the NBA does. Mm-hmm. Has that cup in the middle of the year you win, like a President's Cup, whatever the fuck that is. We have the WNBA has something like that now, and they beat Minnesota for that, which was surprising. And Caitlin was so they have beaten these teams without her, but can they beat these really good teams in a series without her? No, they can't, because they can't beat us. And we're, like I said, we have as good a chance as anyone to win it all. I think any of the top four teams, honestly. Maybe even five, but for sure the top four teams, any of those top four teams would not be a surprise to win it all.
Gotcha.
So it's very, very close, which is good. That's competitive. It'll be great for it'll be great playoffs for the league, and we'll see how that'll finish out. But we're excited to see what happens in the playoffs. The ladies next to us, Megan. She's hilarious sometimes, but they weren't sure whether they hadn't locked in their playoff tickets yet. And hopefully they did last night or did this morning, because we want to see them. They're great people that sit around us. And it's like, you didn't come this far to come this far. That was my answer to it. It's like, wouldn't you kick yourself if you had great seats for the whole season? Because we have great seats. So you're sitting right next to us.
Mm-hmm.
You are a season ticket holder. You missed maybe a couple games because they went on that vacation. And then they make the playoffs and they have a good shot at winning the championship, and you ain't going to be here. Because I would kick the fuck out of myself if I put that much time coming in and, using that as my entertainment and then not be there for the championship if they win it. That would just suck. And for us, it's really kind of cool because it's the first year for us. If you're like a first-year true fan and your team wins, there are fans that wait decades for their teams to win a championship, and they never do. Browns, Indians, decades, right? Just interesting. So hopefully they do. We'll know more next Tuesday when we see them again. All right. So we're super happy that football. I forgot when we did the show on Monday. I wasn't even thinking, brother, that we had all those phenomenal football games over the weekend. And there was one more to go on Monday night. University of North Carolina versus TCU, the Horned Frogs. Bill Belichick's debut on the college field. And it started out good. Mm-hmm. The first half of the first quarter, and then it was all TCU. Those Horned Frogs, and they rubbed Bill Belichick's nose in it too. That may come back to haunt them someday, but I don't necessarily blame them. It was a good way to hype up the team, that nobody was talking about TCU. Everybody was talking about Bill Belichick in North Carolina, very similar to a couple years ago. And Deion only won 3 games his first year, but all the hype surrounding Colorado that first year, and even the second year, even last year, the hype surrounding Colorado. Well, similar hype, obviously, for somebody who's a legend like Bill Belichick. But, yeah, that game. So we just had like 4 days of maybe the best college football, especially for an season opening, besides the whole Dublin thing, that they do the week before. But basically, true opening of college football across the board. Best weekend ever of seeing top teams compete against each other. Because for years, I guess one of the benefits, because I wasn't a big fan of expanding to 12 teams for the college football playoff. Okay. Not a big fan. I thought 8 would have been good. I'm not really a fan of expanding it here from 12. But one of the good things about it, though, that's, I don't know if people knew it would happen. I guess I didn't see for sure that it would happen. We saw it a little bit last year, it being the first year. But that's the fact that you can lose a game and it's not automatically going to kill you. And maybe even 2 games. You might be able to lose 2 games, and depending on who your opponents were and how you finish in your conference, you could still have a shot. Where most of the time, you lose 2 games, you're finished for sure. So I think that's a good part of it. So that enables teams to take a risk and play a team out of their conference that's high quality, equal to them, that they might lose because they're not going to get hammered for it. And in fact, in the standings, from the preseason standings to the standings now, the rankings after this first week, only Alabama really got hammered because Alabama looked like shit. So Alabama fell out of the top 20 for the first time in 17 years, dude. 17 years. Now, they're still in the top 25, but and I'm not, some people have Penn State as number one because they were number two, and the number one team obviously got beat, Texas, but it was Ohio State that beat them. Ohio State, the reigning champs. Ohio State deserves the number one ranking right now, for sure. And I wouldn't put Penn State in the top 5, period. But I'm biased, okay? I'm biased. I'm telling you, I'm just anti-Penn State. I have been. Really was surprised about LSU, but they did that and deserved. But look, Texas was number 1, and they only fall to number 7. Clemson lost, and they only fell to number 8. Miami moved up, beating Notre Dame. Notre Dame lost, but they're still number 9. So that's what I'm saying, because it wasn't a bad loss. Do you know what I mean? It was a close game. People, they're not being penalized for losing a really good game against a really good opponent, which is great for the fans. We're going to see in the future, hopefully, a continuation of really good matchups. Now, these teams are still going to play the MAC teams and get that money and get that easy win, or whatever that team is that they play that is lower end Division I, or maybe even, the is it FCS, whatever the other division is, stuff. So I think it's just overall, it's really, really good. So good for them. Good for everybody. Florida State, I'd have Florida State higher than 14. Our own Arizona State looked really good. So things will work its way out, especially after these first several weeks. And probably after week 4, we'll have a really good idea. That's when you finally start getting into your conference games then, too. But that's what I have for that. But just really, really good stuff. So kind of happy that football is here because I love football so much. But I'm also kind of sad. I don't know. Just thinking about how fast the year's gone. It's like, holy shit, dude. So fast. So let's get to some dumbass news. All right, here we go. Spring, Texas. Yeah. One man was killed and another was charged with murder after the pair took turns wearing a Kevlar helmet and shooting each other with a rifle. It does not say, I don't believe, anywhere in the story, as I have read it already. I don't believe that, well, it doesn't say that alcohol or being stoned was a factor in this. So it just means they're really, really fucking stupid. According to a press release from the Harris County Sheriff, Ed Gonzalez, deputies were dispatched to a residence on August 17th, 2025, regarding a report of shots fired. First responders discovered 34-year-old Aaron Prout suffering from a gunshot wound to the head. He would later succumb to his injuries after being taken to the hospital. Although the department initially believed the incident could be a suicide, with thorough follow-up, with a thorough follow-up investigation, the truth was ultimately revealed. Per Gonzalez's release, hard to believe 2 so-called friends would take turns shooting at each other wearing a Kevlar helmet inside a house in a residential neighborhood while using a rifle. The homeowner, 37-year-old Sean O'Donnell, was charged with murder in connection with Prout's death. Doesn't say how old Prout is. So these aren't like just past, these aren't teenage kids. These aren't like young adults. 37 fucking years old. Obviously single. And they think it's a good idea. But let's blame the gun. We should probably do that. We should probably blame the gun in this instance, right? That would be the thing to do. Isn't that what we normally do? Is that incredible? shoot, I would never think to do that. And I've done some really dumb shit. Unbelievable. I think I had a couple more I'm going to search here and share with you. Oh, this is good because this is us. This right here in AZ. And it's been hot this year, and this has been a pretty hot August that we just went through. But I don't believe that it was as hot as last year. Of the 3 summers, well, right? Of the 3 summers that I've now spent here, I can say last year was the hottest of those 3. We had a long stretch of over 100 and really high over 100, like the 110 to 120 days. So it just feels like that. So I don't understand why this wasn't a story prior to this or even last year. For almost 25 years, Mike Cardwell has been studying rattlesnakes in the desert using radiotelemetry devices with surgically implanted transmitters inside the snakes, rattlesnakes. So somebody had to actually catch these snakes and implement these transmitters into these snakes and then put them back in the wild. That's kind of crazy too, right? He can track both their location and their internal temperature in the wild. Before 2023, the hottest internal temperature Cardwell ever recorded in a living snake was around 97 degrees. But after a streak of daytime temperatures topping 110 degrees in July of 23, 2 of the diamond rattleback snakes he was tracking north of Tucson died in the shelter while sheltering underground. So the rattlesnakes are outside. They're not just hanging out in the heat. He suspected they overheated. I'd never had a rattlesnake die underground during the summer. He holds a master's degree in science from the University of California, Sacramento, and serves as a consulting biologist for Arizona Poison and Drug Information Center. Snakes tolerate getting too cold much better than they do getting too hot. Everybody thinks that reptiles love the heat. They love being warm. They don't love being hot. Despite their sharp fangs and deadly venom, the rattlesnakes struggle to defend themselves against a new threat to their survival, the extreme heat. So we can blame climate warming, right? Climate change. And I just, okay. Come back. It just reloaded itself. Give me a second here, folks. And it's not just the snakes that are feeling the heat. From elusive jaguars to saguaro cactus, the changing climate is taking its toll on some of Arizona's most iconic species, even those who have adapted to the desert heat over thousands of years. Human intervention has helped to curb the effects on some of the most imperiled native species, and in some cases even succeeded in recovery efforts. But overarching threat of climate change persists. Arizona is already feeling its impacts. Last summer was the state's hottest on record. Here we go. That's kind of what I thought. With an average temperature of 82.1, the average temperature in Phoenix was 98.9, making it the warmest year on record in America's hottest city. It was also Earth's hottest year ever recorded. But, you know, remember, what do we actually have recorded? But it is interesting that to have snakes, rattlesnakes specifically, start dying underground because of the heat.
Really?
Yeah. Interesting. Let's see. As endangered squirrels become isolated on Sky Island peaks and parched pronghorn search far and wide for a rare drink of water, Arizona's unique species have evolved and adapted to the harsh environment, but they now face new challenges. But I just think it's crazy. I didn't know they were doing this. They actually capturing rattlesnakes and implanting transmitters inside them, which allows them to track them and also track their internal body heat, or temperature, which is, I mean, it's kind of cool. I'm okay that we study those kinds of things. That's not like super dumb to me. We do study some dumb shit sometimes, and you're like, really? Somebody gave money to this person to study this? Yeah. This I think this is okay. At least the dude gets to use his degree, right? For something. Oh. But it's still, I can't get over 37 years old and thinking it's a smart idea to shoot each other wearing a Kevlar helmet and shooting each other with a rifle.
I'm assuming one of them died?
Yeah, one of them died. Yeah, while you were gone, one of them died. And it doesn't, no mention in the article of any alcohol or drugs. Just, we know one was 37 that lived, the one that's being charged. We don't know about with the age of the other one, but I would assume probably within 5 years of each other. I mean, I would guess. I mean, maybe I could be wrong about that, but something like that. Let's see. I had another one here, too. There was also a hero who died. He was the last man that served in World War II and was part of a plane crew that did some bombing, something like that. And it was 103. So, like, pretty much, we're getting to the point where the heroes that served in World War II, they're almost all gone. So, as the last few, yeah, there you go. You pulled it up. Got a congressional gold medal. That's a big deal. But it should probably say what group he was in, doesn't it?
Surviving ace?
Yeah. Well, he's just a pilot. They mean by that, but what battalion or what group he was a part of? Stay in there. Yeah, it's okay. We don't have to have that, but God rest the soul of this American hero. He'd been a scoutmaster for Troop 280. That have to do with the American Legion. It's okay. All right, I got something else. This is the last one I'm going to share, but I had to do it. Be careful who you hire as an attorney. And as you know, it's just a few days and a month away. So just slightly over a month away when my divorce will become final. Nice. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. And I had difficulty with my first attorney. Not very good. Did not do a great job at all.
Okay.
This attorney's doing much, much better. But to tell you how hard it is and how much it matters to have an attorney, but this is a guy who's going to lose a lot of business, I would think. A Florida divorce lawyer missed a hearing because he was in jail for not paying his alimony. That you probably don't want to hire that guy. And I don't know what the laws are in Florida, but usually you don't go to jail for that. Child support you do, but alimony you usually don't go to jail for. A Florida bar case pending against a Florida divorce lawyer concerned a client's hearing the lawyer missed because she was in the Hernando County Jail on a contempt of court charge. The reason Dorothy Huffnagel was jailed, not paying court-ordered alimony to her former spouse. So this is a female attorney that was having to pay her husband. Well, I don't know. I'm assuming her husband was a male. I shouldn't do that. But I'm just thinking how it sucks for him that she made more money than he did. With that and 5 other Florida bar cases over her head, Huffnagel cut the professional rope, petitioning for disciplinary revocation. That means the bar cases go away, but in return, the Spring Hill lawyer gets booted from the bar for at least 5 years, and any civil or criminal matters associated with the bar cases remain unaffected. So basically disbarred for 5 years is what that makes. Huffnagel's 60 years old, so probably made a pretty good living over the years. I assume, as being a divorce attorney, they're the ones that make out in divorces. It's all, promise you people, it's always the attorney. Even more than the ex-wife. Huffnagel, 60, graduated from Barry University's School of Law in 2005. So 20 years of being a lawyer, but actually becoming a lawyer late in life. That would be like 40 if she's 60 now, right? Otherwise had a clean, disciplined history. So be careful who you hire. You might want to inquire about the marital status of your attorney when you're interviewing them. Are you divorced? Are you paying alimony? And are you paying it on time? Questions to add to the list. Yeah. All right. So other news we'll get to here now. Interesting enough, at least to me, that there's a handful of people out there on the left that are actually bringing up some things that I've said, and one being Joe Scarborough from Morning Joe. I don't think his co-host and wife agreed with him, but after hearing about what happened in Chicago over the weekend, which was double, really, the normal number of shootings and deaths. It was, I think, maybe 8 or 9 dead and 50-some people shot over the Labor Day weekend. And of the holidays this year, you know, Memorial Day, July 7th, this was the biggest. All the while they're telling you nothing to see here. Chicago's great. But yet the residents in the black communities where a lot of this violence is happening are being like, not so fast. Something needs to be done. And a good point was, I heard, that I hadn't even considered, is when the federal government comes in to help you like this, you don't have to pay them back. You could get help and resources on the street, and maybe you don't want, you know, Trump to come in the way he's done in other places, all right? But you could coordinate it, because Trump can't just go into Chicago like he went into Washington, D.C., and mostly because it's different. Washington, D.C., well, first of all, it's not a state, and then as a city, it does have federal control besides having, you know, their own mayor and stuff. There is federal control of Washington, D.C. that allowed Trump to do what he did. In other places, I think one of the things he wanted to do was to show what could be done and to see how much success they could have, you know, have a test case, and then have other people ask. And not just in blue states, red states too. There are red states with blue cities. That is a thing. And why wouldn't you, if you're having high crime rate in your area, want the federal government to come in. If you're a red state governor, you should absolutely be trying to coordinate with President Trump. I think it would be a good look for Republicans to show that it's not just like a retribution thing, that it's serious about tackling crime and coordinating and having them come in and giving some help. But Joe Scarborough suggested that with the rhetoric of Pritzker and the mayor there in Chicago, and being so defiant and even flippant about the deaths that have occurred there, just take an opposite tact, do something else. But they are so opposed to not normalizing Trump, not giving Trump any victories. They're willing to sacrifice their own people and the safety of their own people on the altar of hate of Donald Trump. And if they think the American people can't see that, they'll soon find out a year from now when we have those midterm elections. Because even that the mayor of D.C., Bowser, right? Even the mayor of D.C., who accepted what Trump did, she pushed back a little bit, right? A little bit. But she had been more cooperative. And over the time that the National Guard now has been in Washington, D.C., and with the success they've had, she's acknowledged the difference that it's made. And she's just being honest. I'm sure some people don't like her honesty, especially on the left. But definitely seeing a difference there in Washington, D.C. Now, they've had other streaks where there wasn't a death for so many days. But this streak is right up there with them, and it's extending. I think there's been one maybe in the last 20 days. That's pretty good. One. It's a shame there was that one, but it's pretty good that there was one. And just how it's different that people are able to, use the Metro Transit and use it more safely than what they could just a month ago. Because it just, I can't imagine having to use that as your transit. Where obviously in the city, what they pay for parking in the city is what some of y'all pay for rent for your own ass. It's a lot to pay for parking. It's not the car that's expensive, man. It's the place you park your car. And that's just at home. And that means you have to pay parking wherever you take your fucking car as well, right? It's a lot. And man, it's been that way for a long time. I mean, I haven't been to Chicago in a minute, but I used to go quite regularly. And, even 15 years ago, it'd be $30, $40 easy for just casual parking because you wanted to go downtown and go shopping or something. Can you imagine having to do that on a daily basis? And again, that's besides the parking of your at your own apartment. Unbelievable. But just, I wouldn't expect it of Joe Scarborough. Very critical of the president. But now and again, that's what they need. They need to swerve into this a little bit more. And when people do that, I think for those of us that are conservatives, because we could hammer Joe Scarborough and he would deserve it. But when he says something like this, just like we want them to take a step back and think about what's best for America and not just their political party, that we need to do the same. That when we can include some Democrats, when we can have some discussions with some Democrats like this, that we should be having those discussions and acknowledging it for sure. We should be acknowledging it. That's not a bad thing to do, people. It honestly isn't. I think it's a fantastic thing to do because it's great for the country. It's just great overall. Trump has also, in the last week, taken some hits in the courts, but just caution people who are celebrating, or if you're upset or disappointed about some of these recent court decisions, just understand they're all being appealed. The final answer hasn't happened yet. And that has to do with trade. It has to do with deportations, a number of different ones that it just has to, why it was never going to be over, even if, excuse me, even if Trump had won in these lower court cases, most of the time the other side was going to appeal him too. So it really didn't matter who won the case, it was going to be appealed. That doesn't mean you can't glean certain things from what they say, but just because one court rules that that's against the rules, that's against the Constitution, doesn't mean it actually was. And what truly matters is after a final decision is made, whether the sides abide by what the ultimate ruling is. If you don't abide by the ultimate ruling, that's not good for Republicans and it's not good for Democrats when they did it. It's just not. So a bunch of this stuff is going to be appealed, but he's won a bunch of these cases too. So we'll see how it ultimately works out, but just caution those that may be cheering a little bit that, see, we told you, Trump bad. What he's doing is illegal. Wait till you get the final answer. The one other thing that was really interesting over the weekend, I was like, what the fuck is going on X? But a couple things here. So one was Trump's health and his hand. Now, Trump is what, 83? He's in his 80s. Or Biden was 83. But he's like in his 80s, early 80s.
He's older, yeah.
Right? Even I find this to be true now, and I'm 57. And I'm 57. So I find that when I bump something or hit something, that I get a bruise more easily than I did before.
Gotcha.
And it sticks around longer. And I even have this stupid little thing on my arm that just won't heal at all. I don't even know. Something I'll have to ask the doctor about. It's just crazy that it just won't completely heal over in new skin. It's been a long time. And I'm healthy. Okay, I'm healthy. But as you get older, there are certain things that change. And I remember my dad is like this. My dad bruises super easily. And because my dad has been on blood thinners and stuff, I think that's a big thing too, that if you're on blood thinners or if you're taking aspirin, related to your heart, like every day kind of thing, that you can bump stuff, especially on his hands. There's Trump's hand with the bruise on it. My dad's in his 80s. My dad's hands will look like that from time to time. It's normal. My dad is nowhere close to as healthy as Trump is. My dad's of right mind, at least the last that I knew, right? But it's just that's normal. And then he's also having an issue with his leg, where his right leg or hip area is a little stiff. And it seems when he walks that he doesn't bend it quite as much as normal and that he kind of swings it a little bit. But dude, this dude was playing golf again this weekend. The same people that are like, Trump's going to die are the same people bitching about how much he golfs. And yeah, he's using a cart. You're still walking. You're still walking on the golf course. But he didn't do a press conference. He wasn't as visible because he's literally visible to us every day, right? So he was kind of out of the spotlight for a couple days. And there was speculation They were doing maps to the hospital there in D.C. Trump's not healthy. Trump's going to die. That was the rumors going around this weekend, that Trump was about to die. And, of course, on X, they were gleefully proclaiming, what's wrong with Trump? Again, we just did a press conference, and yesterday, you know what would suck? Let me tell you what would suck. It would suck. I wouldn't enjoy it, I don't think. And I love this stuff. I would not enjoy being a cabinet member or a senator or someone and being at a Trump press conference like yesterday, right? Where they announced that they're moving the Space Force basically from Colorado to Alabama. And because we have a lot of other space stuff already in Alabama, it just makes a lot of sense to do this in Alabama. Just money-wise, technology, everything that's there. It seems like a really smart move. And so they were announcing that. And because it's a big deal, because it could also be a lot more jobs and stuff in Huntsville, Alabama. And multiple places were competing to have this in their area. Senators and stuff. But if you had the senators from Alabama there, you have secretaries, deputy secretaries, you had Vice President J.D. Vance. But the president did his spiel about the Space Force in Alabama, and then he's, as always, taking questions from the press, and they start asking him about other things. It was like an hour and a half with no teleprompter, no notes, standing, just answering, firing back, taking questions, firing back, taking questions, firing back. I would hate to have to stand behind the president for an hour and a half, because honestly, I would have to excuse myself at some point and piss. I mean, what you all don't see on this show most of the time, unless it's an emergency, and if it's an emergency, if I had to, I'd get the fuck up from this seat and go piss, okay? I would. But pretty much, and Leo is my witness, the first thing I do when we end this broadcast, I get up and go to the bathroom, because we're usually on at least an hour, maybe a little bit longer than an hour, and that's about as long as I can go. If I drive somewhere, I go before I leave, and when I get there an hour later, guess what I do? I go again. I don't know. I drink a lot. I don't know. I try to stay hydrated.
No, that's a good thing.
But anyways, you just go a lot. I just would hate to be behind him during that press conference, but he handled that press conference really, really well. But like I said, it wasn't just about the Space Force. It was about so many other things. And he didn't even, I'm surprised, at least he said he didn't know. He knew some of the things that were being talked about, but not about him being dead. That there was that, speculation because of a couple of days. And he basically just said, he stayed in town, and instead of going to one of his own golf courses, he golfed in town. And you always hear the other side complaining about how expensive it is whenever he leaves town and goes and golfs in Florida or, some other place that he has a course or things like that. He stayed in town and golfed. He stayed in town for the holiday, did things in D.C. But he wasn't hiding in a basement. And it's just the balls of these people to attack Trump about health when you didn't give two fucks and covered up Joe Biden's health for the whole fucking time. My answer to you people is fuck off. Seriously, just fuck off with that shit. Does his health matter? Yes. Yes. We have a governor in Texas who governs from a wheelchair. We had a president that once did that as well. And we don't know how Biden even governed. We don't even know if Biden was truly governing the whole time. He probably contributed when he could, But he was being propped up for most of that 4 years. And Trump, in 7 months, has done way more press conferences, way more just being in front of the people, like it or not, answering questions, no notes, no teleprompter, than Biden ever did easily in his 4 years. It's not even close. It's not close. I'm amazed at what the guy can do. I mean, even if you don't like him, you should be at least a little bit amazed when he's flying here, flying there, and you know he's taking calls on the plane. The dude isn't taking a nap on Air Force One. You see him, he's doing interviews. He's doing a Fox interview. He's meeting with the press corps. He's doing presidential business, just literally. He's not banging a stewardess in the back that we know of, but he's actually motherfucking working. And most of us don't work that hard. You just don't. This is a 24/7 job, and he treats it like that. He treats it like 24/7, always being on. And you do always have to be on if you're president. I work a lot. I mean, here and there, constantly throughout the day. You know, yes, I get a break to do stretch lab. Yes, I can't really use my phone during stretch lab. But there's almost no time. My workouts would probably be better if I didn't have my phone. Or if I put my phone on a charger and hit it off to the side and wasn't checking it and just listening to music. Because I do like having the headphones and the music. But there's literally almost no time that I'm in the gym. And that included on the holiday, including Labor Day when we went to the gym, where I'm not answering some client questions, where I'm not doing business. I'm always doing business. I've had surgeries where I was answering client questions while I was being prepped. So the only time that I didn't have my phone is when they wheeled me back. And then as soon as I was awake again, I asked for my phone and I went right back to it. And most of the time, the people that I was talking to, they didn't even know. Because if I had told them, well, I'm in the hospital, they'd be like, oh, I can message you later. No, dude, I got nothing else to do. I'm sitting here. I might as well work too. But that's just how I view it. And again, I also have the ability to do that. I realize everybody isn't an entrepreneur, and you may have a job that you have to go to, and there's no way for you to do that. But I do know what it's like to do massive amount of hours. Labor Day is a celebration of our blue collar workers, and God bless them. But you got your 40-hour week and some overtime. And you like that overtime when you can get it. And that's awesome. I don't get weekends like that. I don't get those off weekends. I don't get paid sick day. I don't get FMLA. They love that in the others. It's like, if nothing else, it's always FMLA. Call in FMLA. I don't even know what that shit is because I just don't have it. If I don't work, I don't eat. It's that simple. But this guy, he works like that. It's just amazing. But y'all want him dead. Well, I hope he doesn't, just because he's of his age, and he could be 50, he could be my age. Anybody can just have a heart attack. Even somebody who is healthy could have a heart attack. Even if maybe their risk level is lower, but it happens. A friend of mine who died a year ago, he had a few health issues going on, but he did everything he could as far as exercising and diet and everything. And if you saw him, he was fit as fuck, man. And he passed away way too young. So, especially when you get to the age that Trump is, man, sometimes there's nothing. There's maybe no heart attack. Maybe you just stop breathing and God just takes you in your fucking sleep. I mean, if you've been alive for any length of time, you tell me you don't know that shit happens? Of course it does. And I hope it doesn't happen. I hope Trump gets to finish his term before he leaves this earth. And what happens to him after that? You know, that's between him and God, man. That ain't none of your motherfucking business. Because people will be judging. People will be saying shit. Oh, good. This is great. Trump's dead. He's now in hell. You don't know that. You just don't. People want to judge other people on their works or personality. Man, I'm glad that my God doesn't do that. I'm glad that my God forgives me. That's what I know about that. But just as a casual reminder to some of you motherfuckers, if something happens to President Trump, there's not another election. You don't get Kamala for the rest of the term. That's not a thing. It's President J.D. Vance. And just like I said, that Biden should have left office in his last 2 years, for sure in his last year, and turned it over to Kamala, I think that would have been a benefit to her, and the race, the presidential race between her and Trump would have been a lot closer. And I'm going to tell you that if it became President Vance, it will be harder for Republicans to run against him, although I think they would try. And, you know, I'm also a big fan right now of Marco Rubio in the future. I think he's done a phenomenal job for Republicans. I've had some issues with him over the years, but right now what he's doing, he's the best Marco Rubio I've ever seen. But I'm just saying, it would sure make the road a little bit easier for J.D. Vance if he got to be president for a couple of years, because then he would have a record to run on. And you might think he might not do well, but do you want to take that chance? But keep rooting for President Trump to die, because you're going to... The next man up, I don't think you're going to like any better. And when have you liked a Republican anyways? You never like a Republican. There's no Republican that I can remember. I don't know if it was said about Reagan very much. I'm sure people called him a racist. I'd have to research it. But especially after Reagan. The Bushes even. There were accusations of being racist on every Republican president and every Republican nominee who lost. Every single one of them. Every single one of them you've made this. Now, maybe some, in this case, you've never been harder on anyone than you've been on Trump. And it is interesting to note, too, how many, Trump was basically a Democrat before. Kennedy was a Democrat 2 years ago, or a little over a year ago, before he changed over, went independent, and then joined the MAGA squad in the Trump administration. Tulsi Gabbard ran for president back in 2020, Democrat, now Republican, now serving in a Republican administration. This is the party that's expanded and taken on Democrats into the party that used to be just normal Democrats. But because the crazy people have taken over the Democrat Party, they're just leaving these folks like this behind. People that weren't traditionally Republicans, but they don't want to be identified with the really super crazy. Now, look, I'll say, and I don't like saying, but I will, just to be fair, there are people in the Republican Party that I don't like. And there is a crazy element in the Republican Party. The difference is they don't control the Republican Party. You can't say that about the Democrats. It is the crazies. It is the socialists that are in control. It's no longer the Democrat Party. They are Democrat Socialists of America. That is the name of the organization. And if you want to see what they stand for, check out their website. But for you grandparents, if you're worried about your grandchildren, look it up. Democrat Socialists of America. Look it up, because that's what your young grandkids are being taught in college now. You're spending tens and tens of thousands of dollars a year for them to become democratic socialists. And socialism is socialism, no matter what fucking bow you put on that pig. So great opportunity for the Republicans, and they're taking advantage of it right now. And that's a good thing. And I like debate in the Republican Party. I don't want everybody to always agree. That's not always chaos in the Republican Party. That's good. I'm okay when that happens, when the different factions fight with each other about the budget and, you know, military spending or whatever. That's good. That's healthy. That used to be Democrats and Republicans that were just on either side of the center that used to be able to do that. Now they can't do that anymore. And you have a great suggestion, like I said, with Joe Scarborough, but others have said it, who's suggesting, hey, why not reach out a hand to the president and say, well, yeah, we have some bad areas. How can we work together and partner up on these bad areas in what I would believe would be a legal, constitutional way? How can I ask for your help? And how can you not violate the Constitution? How can we get federal government help that they wouldn't have to pay for to come into the city and help us, you know, get a handle on things? And I heard somebody describe it as, we had a couple times where we did this in the war, where we had like a surge, where we put in a bunch more troops. We just went at it really, really hard, went on the offensive to get things under control, and then back down. That's all we're talking about doing on the streets of America in some of the worst places. It's just putting a surge out there. And then, you know what the answer is when the National Guard leaves? And that you have a president that's going to be on your side for now and lobby for, even though, like, we know money is, like, tight because we spend more than we take in. But you're likely to get help with more cops on the street. Because if you look at most of these big cities, some of them have lost 25 to 30% over the last 4 or 5 years of their police force, that they've retired, they've quit, whatever, but haven't been replaced, that they don't have enough new cop classes coming in to replace them. That's a lot, man. And I don't know, I always thought being a cop was kind of a blue-collar job, a little bit. Just like firefighter, a little bit, you know, but
it depends on your city.
Similar income. I mean, but it's a decent paying job. I know it depends. Of course it always depends.
I don't know about that. Yeah, at first it's a really not so decent paying job until you're in the police force for like a solid.
Why should you get paid good money until you learn what the fuck you're doing? But I don't know what the starting. Just how about this? What is the starting first year salary of a Chicago policeman when he graduates the academy? That's what I want to know. Starting salary for a Chicago police officer. It's going to take us longer to get it with Google.
61,000.
But look at how much it goes up over 18 months, dude. It goes up 30 grand. So 50%. You get a 50% increase over 18 months, dude.
That's a lot more than I expected.
And I realize it's more expensive to live in Chicago. But still, do this too. What is the median income of a Chicago resident? Yeah, you just have to get rid of all that. Median income for a Chicago resident. Yeah, get rid of the police and stuff there. Yep.
42,000. It was about 75 in 2022.
That's the household.
Whether it's an individual or a household, some sites report a median salary of 65,000 as of August of 2025.
But it's putting you there at the median on day one from graduating from the academy, right? And then at over 90,000 in 18 months. I'm just saying it's a decent job. And then what is here the other thing? So lots of people have been signing up to become ICE now too, because they're hiring so many more people for ICE.
Mm-hmm.
What's the not bonuses? I know they're getting bonuses, but what's the first year's salary for ICE?
Anywhere from 48 to 63 per year as of late 2025.
And they're getting both. And dude, thousands of people are lining up for this job. So if there were more spots available in the academy to bring on more police officers, you're not telling me people wouldn't be lining up for those fucking jobs. We already see it happening here. I'm just saying it's putting people to work and putting cops on the street. I don't know. I just get help. Stop fighting with each other. Work together for the good of the American people on both sides. Stop being a dick. It's not a good look. All right, that's what I got for today. Friday. You don't know, but I'm telling you now, I am going to be coming to you from Sedona, Arizona. Taking a trip up to Sedona. And probably leaving tomorrow is what the plan is. Come home on Sunday. Because it kind of shuts down a little bit on Sunday. Sunday is not a busy day in Sedona. So I thought it was better maybe to go on Thursday. And
Sunday wasn't a busy day in Sedona?
Well, things aren't open as late. And things, the hours are a little bit less and things, where you're going to get the full experience on Friday and Saturday. Much more. And Dawn has never been there, so we'll do the whole Jeep tour, which I recommend for anybody if you ever get to Sedona. It may seem a little hokey, but do the Jeep tour that they have there, like the pink Jeep tours that they take you out on. The people are usually very informative, and it's just fun. It's not that expensive, and it's just fun to get out in the desert and just learn about the area and stuff. I enjoyed it before, so we'll do that again, obviously. And a bunch of great shops there and in the surrounding area if you like to do that, and I do. So we'll be checking out. We'll be checking that out. Last time I was in Sedona, I dropped some cash, man.
It's pretty expensive, not gonna lie. Sedona itself is.
Well, I don't know. Did I ever show you the skull I had?
Which one?
I forget what kind of stone it is. It's a purple stone, but it's a one of one, and they only made a couple of them. Did I show you that with the skull? That's badass. That was like, I don't know, $4 or $5 grand for that piece of art. Mm-hmm. And I had bought another one that was like $2,000 or $3,000. So yeah, I dropped a little bit of money when I was there on some art. But what I won't be buying up there is any metal cactuses, man. I get my metal cactuses and my mariachi men straight from fucking Mexico, man. I don't have to go to Sedona and overpay for it. And we'll be going down to Mexico at the end of the month, too. So take another few days. But always working. Always working. I will do the broadcast. I will be working with clients the whole time I'm there. It's just what I do. So what lets me do that kind of stuff. I mix it together. Workations, whatever you want to call it. Check out the other social media. Follow me on X. I think I'm getting much better at posting shit on X. Check it out. Give me your opinion of what you think of my posts on X. Definitely trying to cover a wide range of things that I'm interested in, not just always all political either. And Facebook, I think Facebook has gotten better. Follow me on Facebook. Instagram, I don't know about Instagram, dude. It just is there. I give it my little effort. And of course, business-wise, TikTok has always been solid for me, even though they took all my 15,000 followers and I had to start over. I right now have about 3,500 of the best people. So would like to see that go up as well. And here, subscribe here, send it to a friend, give me some feedback. Tell me what you think. We have some more changes coming that we'll be sharing with you in the very near future. So just follow along as we grow, because this is a class on what to do and what not to do if you do a podcast. We are demonstrating it and figuring it out on the way. And just have a great week, right? It's Wednesday. Because yesterday, the day after Labor Day and Memorial Day is always fucked up, because that always feels like the Monday. But no, it's Wednesday. Have a great hump day. God bless. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy.